Okay, guys, so this was a ginormous fail and waste of time because basically what I ran into was clearance problems, as expected, but I wanted to give it a go. It was worth it. It was worth a try. But the plan was to put this sort of pin in here that I have a through hole. This was going to go in here. It was going to go in a little proud 50 thousandths proud. Then the bearing, then the retention pin, and then the plan was to let me get this back together. Then the plan was to drill a hole all the way through, all the way through the here, and then both pins, and then out the other side, and put a roll pin, and then that would hold that together. But like I said, the problem I'm running into is clearance, right? So this part is hitting the flywheel. This back part is hitting, let me see if I can show you. This back part is hitting the spring-loaded part. So, and if I pocket this out any deeper, this wheel is gonna then start to try to fall into those half moons on the flywheel. So it's just not gonna work out. Like I said, kind of a waste of time, but it was worth a shot. So now I'm just gonna sort of go back to the original plan where it's gonna be something like this, and I'm just gonna cut this end off and then put the bevel on here to knock that pin back out and just go without the bearing. All right, guys, so I'm just getting ready to cut this angle on our new part, and this one measured 25 degrees, so I'm gonna start there and you know, see what that gets me. The setup here is a 25 degree angle block, and then just setting in, and I'm gonna take 250 thousandths depth. So let's see what happens. All right, guys, I think we got it running pretty good. I just have a pair of vice grips holding the pressure down. It doesn't have the spring tension on it, but same idea. But so it's not engaging. So I'm gonna back it up. So there it engages. I'm gonna see if I can get disengage it. So let's see if it runs. Everything's just sort of a little loose here, but we should get a basic idea. So locks in perfectly, and the finger knocks it out. So that's pretty good. Pretty pleased with that. So it ended up being that 25 degree angle here, 25 degree angle here is the perfect angle for it to knock it out. And then on the face of this, there's a 5 degree relief angle, so it traps it. It traps the finger by having that relief on the face of it. So all good, all good. So essentially done with the clutch assembly, right? Again, everything's just sort of sitting loose on here. Everything's not really tightened down too much yet, but seems to run really good. Really happy with that. So yeah, done with that part. All right, guys, so just got everything sort of dry fit here. Got the new belts on here. This is just the old belt, and you know, runs great. The one thing I'm noticing is that, again, this is all just sort of loosely fit, but the belt, this pulley, they're kind of out, and I have the motor pushed in as far as I can. I just got these kind of cheap cast pulleys for now from Tractor Supply, and I think in the meantime, though, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this off and just going to face that end of the pulley in the mill, or maybe face it in the lathe, and see if I can get that to move that belt in a little bit. But all right, so what I'm doing here is I'm just putting these on an expanding arbor, and leaving a little room in there, kind of something like that. Took the set screw out. And I got these kit of expanding arbors. I tell you what, I use them all the time. So that's it, right? And then just gonna chuck it up in the lathe. And I already did this one. So I took 20 thousandths off the face. All right, so that's with the 20 thousandths off there. There's still just a little bit of deflection, but I think that when I actually tighten the motor, pull the motor tight and tighten the bolts down, I can adjust for that little tiny bit of deflection that's left there, but I think that's running pretty good. Let's see if we can get a different perspective. So like I said, everything's just kind of loose, but all right, guys, time to start focusing on this part. And it's the more I look at this part, the more I'm kind of thinking that I may actually keep this steel, gouge all of this off, and then totally refabricate the two tower parts. Definitely refabricating these parts. I didn't really want to, but I'm going to have to refabricate these parts. I'd like to get a little more, probably a bigger spring with a little less power. Little weld left on there, but at least, you know, I didn't get down into the parent metal. And just a bunch of slag on the top of there, just coke. That'll just pop off with the angle grinder. So one side done, just got to do the other side now. All right, so got those gouged off of there and pretty well cleaned up with the angle grinder. We'll fine tune that a little bit. Gonna change the towers around a little bit. So same kind of concept. I got both pieces of pipe here to refabricate this stuff, but rather than welding this hollow tube onto this, you know, at least 3/8 inch solid, not really liking that plan too much. Gonna go with solid. I'm gonna use 1 inch, and this is what I have here so far. And then I'll go with the 1 inch tube over top of those and refabricate something different than these. I really wanted to save these, didn't really want to have to remake these, but I think going with the solid stock here is going to pay off in the end, and I think it'll lighten this thing a little bit. May or may not lighten it a little, but at least welding this solid to this solid, that weld's never going to break. When I was cutting through those old welds, there must have been 15 layers of weld on there from all the times that it was repaired and re-welded. So we're just going to do it right this time. So that's going to be it for this one. Stay tuned and see what happens next.